Spin us a story. You're the Sakura man. What, nothing?
Sing us a song about Futaba.
And all about what her whole deal is. I don't know. I thought that was a good reference.
It was a great reference.
Because, we gotta have...
I couldn't think of like a line off the top of my head. We were discussing this for like 20 minutes before the episode.
We weren't discussing Billy Joel songs, though, which maybe we should have.
Yeah.
But,
I haven't...
I'm just saying that it's like, we're going to be sitting here for like 5 minutes watching some exposition, so we got to squeeze out as much content as possible.
Yeah.
And if that means talking about Billy Joel, that means talking about Billy Joel.
Okay, yeah, I mean...
What's your favorite Billy Joel song?
I gotta say, I've come to respect him a lot more as just like the perfect pop piano musician. Like, it's annoying to walk by the piano bar for like 5 years and they're always playing either Crocodile Rock or a Billy Joel song, usually Piano Man. That's a little bit of an annoyance, but I got to admit, he really does put a lot of thought into like his dumb pop song. Like Uptown Girl is a great song. Like there's a lot of these great songs, like New York State of Mind, that one about how he's got his own life.
Yeah.
Not on my
I wonder what that one's called.
This is my life. Yeah, okay, that's what it is.
Crocodile Rock, also a good song, though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think that Piano Man, it's like something about that one in particular just gets so much play that it just is... I always feel like I gotta refute that one. It's not a terrible song or anything, but it is like, it is overplayed.
It's not a terrible song. It's just like, it's one of those like, okay...
Good Riddance, Green Day type of songs.
Yeah, exactly. It's nostalgic, and it's like if you really take it too seriously, it's just like, well, okay, it's not that deep. It's like, okay, this guy is a piano man, and he's walking all these patrons in the bar and making, darkly humorous observations about how they didn't realize they're ambitious in life. But he's doing kind of in the same boat. He's the piano man. What are you doing here, man? Like, he's probably drinking too much.
He's doing piano.
And his microphone smells like a beer.
Oh yeah, I would think that most things smell like a beer. Also, suicide being incorporated into one of the plot lines of this game. Whoa, what a surprise! Anyway, I mean, I think it's a decent song. It's just, it's simple melodies to play, one of those type of things. Wonderwall is another good comparison.
Yeah. Like if every time I walked by a traveling musician, they were playing the theme from MASH, Suicide is Painless, I'd probably get sick of that song too. But since that's not the case. It's just a banger.
They were actually singing the lyrics. That would be interesting.
What was that?
If they were actually singing the lyrics to it, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and it's good lyrics.
Also fitting for the game here. I suppose maybe we should be talking about the actual events that are going on here. Okay, so yeah, I think the reason that Futaba is supposed to be having like hallucinations is something to do, at least more or less, with the metaverse type of stuff. It might be the reason that she was inspired to be Alibaba in the first place. To take that sort of look, to take that sort of name, was because the Black Mask person has been hounding after her. She is like a world-class hacker, after all. Maybe this is just like me trying to connect some threads between like something that is pretty inexplicable, which is the whole Alibaba as an identity thing. But even though I know that Persona 5 doesn't really do that. I
mean, so
they don't care.
Have we established whether the people are evil because of the metaverse, or whether they became so evil that the metaverse developed malice around them? Like,
well, it should be the second one. Although one thing that Morgana said, like, very, very quickly at the very start of the game was that, like, palaces that existed outside of Mementos are kind of a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe, like, they started the aberration outside of Mementos, but something else is causing it to get much worse, which might be making them more extreme. Like, it's one of those things that's kind of an interesting line of thought that was never really followed up on in favor of the main characters fumbling over their dicks over and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, nice. That's a classic comedy thing where you like, I'm stumbling over. They're stumbling over their dicks. That's the funniest way to say that.
Tripping over their dicks, I think, is the usual phrase, and I like that phrase a lot because it conjures up a very funny image.
It is. It's very funny. It's like a slapstick thing, except of course it's with their dicks. So.
Except it's so much more irreverent.
Yeah.
I'm like a real Family Guy over here.
All the characters in Family Guy talking with one voice.
Yes. A horrible homunculus, which is what they are all destined to become one day. When voice actors no longer need to be differentiated from each other, and when plot lines no longer have relevance, it is merely the retelling of individual comic strip type cutaways, they will just meld all into one singular fly-like being. Cronenberg, but not to death, to newer life.
Well, we've all seen the end of Inside, and that's what we're thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if people have.
Okay, well, hey, have you played Inside on this channel?
Don't you remember? We were going to stream it, but then you're like, no, I wanna get super. I want to get absorbed into the story.
Okay.
Like the main character.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we just ended up not doing it. It doesn't matter. That was like back in 2017.
Yeah,
so, oh boy, who would have watched that on the stream at that point in time?
Like, it was nice though. We played it at your house and we turned off all the lights. It was actually really cool. That would be a fun Halloween.
And then we started making out, and but anyway. Finally, somebody asked this. It only took 55 episodes. By the way, I did actually look, because of course I have the ability to do that. Morgana was definitely still with the main character when the previous scene ended. Just like hanging out right over his shoulder. So it's not like there wasn't. If you were paying attention, there wasn't a point where Morgana slipped away. Is what I'm trying to say. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, and I like that Morgana missing. Like, it's not like this is a house cat. This is a supernatural being. It's just, oh, well, I guess he'll be fine. He's a cat.
There's also a question of why did we even fucking bother going to his house if we could have just let Morgana in there? His door was already open. We could just be like, hey, Morgana, go check it out.
These characters are so tired of each other. Like, they're not even close friends. They're just like, we're all in this now.
And, of course, this is just the most flagrantly terrible example of this entire thing yet. Like, Jesus Christ. But Persona writers, you are like, this is, why is it going on this long? It's going on so much longer. Like, we get it. Also, one thing to note is that main character did have dialogue in the scene that this is mirroring. Not right now. Kind of calls into question. It's just like, how much of this stuff is he allegedly saying that he's actually saying?
Now, why didn't they just have this be the first time they described this instead of having like a flashback?
What? I don't know.
Like,
anyway, the entire scene was worth that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, so
that could have been like they could have just shown 2 lines from that. Oh my God, I can't even. That is, we've made fun of that scene. We've made fun of that type of scene many times before this.
That's what,
like, ever since like episode 2, I think.
That was like an M. Night Shyamalan type ending, where they're just really trying to make it clear. Oh, like, I bet they thought that was like really clever. Like, when they were in their writer's room, it's like, okay, what if we do the same scene, same dialogue, but like it's a voiceover, but now we're watching her, and then, oh shit, she's cat's in her room now, and it just leaves. Oh my God.
But that's no. I guarantee that they did not think that out. I guarantee what they probably thought was, this is an easy way to get this, to pad this game out to 100 hours. Oh, I spelled amateur wrong. Oh well. Yeah. So I guess that's how.
Sorry.
Why does she need to? I suppose it would kind of make some level of sense that she has LeBlanc bugged, because she does not care about privacy, and that's a place that she would be able to easily get into. Why would she need to also be able to read the chat logs? I mean, why do all the main characters just constantly talk about how they're... It shouldn't be easy to hack into that sort of thing. Whatever. You know what? It doesn't matter. We're talking about super hackers here.
They can do anything.
logic does not really. That's not even. Look, there are good pieces of media that present hackers in very unrealistic ways.
Yeah. Like The Matrix.
I'm okay with this. And as cliched as it is to have, the teenage girl super hacker, I mean, I think that's kind of like the standard way that you become a hacker these days.
I like that.
It's like, whatever, that's fine. It's just, boy, is it confusing that it's like this plot line has now introduced a group of international super hackers and just a regular super hacker that is not in any way associated with them entirely separately right now.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about this, so it's like, I'm kind of confused about some of the specifics, and I'm like, yeah, that's because the coincidences are so severe in this plot line in particular.
So, just to be clear, this Alibaba is definitely Futaba, and
I
know.
Yeah, that was that thing that I was talking about
for the
last
cats,
time,
and
where it's like,
what I'm trying to say is that's true, but it's also not the case that she has anything to do with Medjet. That is a completely separate plot line. Is that right?
yes, it has nothing to do with
Okay,
it.
so that's not great writing. that's just very confusing.
If they set it up ahead of time, like, here's the thing: if it would make more sense. I mean, I guess the reason is that it's like, okay, a world-class hacker attacked them, kind of. Well, they're attacking the entirety of Japan in the name of the Phantom Thieves, which we've gone over that too many times. That it's like, Futaba was the one that reached out to them, which, okay, that makes sense.
I can't.
But the fact that she's also the main character's caretaker's daughter is just, there's so many stupid coincidences in this. And it's like, it's just kind of, it's weird kind of keeping them separate, because the connections that are made between plot lines in this game don't really make logical sense. Like, they stretch disbelief. It's hard to even like unwrap the onion of terrible writing that is going on here.
Because it's not like these things are adding to our experience of the game. If they were like, okay, these are contributing, like, okay, it's this deep conspiracy that goes down 3 levels, but it's like, no, it's just one that's kind of just mixed up with too many other things. It's just like, okay, it's like when Dexter is like, okay, well, this is also his father, and then his father is also his sister's father. So that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, that's just too many connections there.
Wait, that doesn't make sense to you?
Wait, hold on. I guess that does make sense to me now that I'm thinking about it. I'm saying it out loud. It actually does make sense that his sister's father would be his father. That they're like related. Okay. But you know what I mean.
Now I'm confused.
Okay. Let me start over.
Okay, we'll start the episode over. Sing us a song. You're the Sakura. No, that wasn't it.
No, that doesn't work. It only worked once. You did it well the first
By the
time.
way. They didn't even show the assembly.
What?
I think that's like, what is happening in the game right now?
How do? You build up to it for like a week, like just.
There was so many scenes.
They kept saying, "Oh, it's important."
What is happening in this fucking game?
What is this emergency assembly about? What happened? What was it? Somebody die?
Oh, doesn't matter.
They just it literally doesn't matter. They don't go into it. Like, what happened?
No, that's the last we hear about it.
That's awesome.
This is just like
like, that is incredibly.
Is this like the arc where the game literally starts like falling apart? Like we're gonna get to the point where it's like, hey, it's the palace, and it's just, it looks like battle tanks or something. There's no textures. It's just a bunch of wireframes. And like the main characters stop moving. They just no longer have any animation, and they just say like dialogue line 1.
Like, I want to be clear. I don't like, we're doing this game because you're obligated to do it, but I'm not trying to hate it. I don't think you are either. We're trying
I wanted to love this game.
We're trying to find the good in this game. Like even the
There is a lot of good stuff in this game, but it's the Phantom Menace style thing where it's like, man, there's a lot of talented people that worked on this, but not the writers.
Yeah. That's a great summary. Yeah.
Oh boy, I didn't even show the assembly. How many scenes do we have about that? Okay, we had at least one in school. We had at least like one IM message that was about like, hey, I can't believe we're doing this. We had several like end of scenes like, hey, remember there's another assembly. We had that one scene where they were walking to school, and then they didn't show it.
Yeah. And it's like, that's a pretty important thing. Like they've built it up as, okay, it matters a lot. And that's a place where you can deliver like news that will shake up the story. Like, oh, okay, you know.
And also like, that's a place where it makes sense to deliver news in the way they love doing it, which is just character talk.
Like, oh, okay, here's what they can do with the emergency assembly. They can have the detective, the boy detective. He's this prodigy that is working with law enforcement. Say, you know, we've identified that the Phantom Thieves are students at this school, and there's going to be a hunt on to figure out who the Phantom Thieves are. And
in fact, that's what it seemed like it should have been, right?
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And
like, because that's like they were talking about like, oh, Shujin's, you know, I legitimately am wondering right now, did I like miss putting that scene in? Like, it's like, now that I'm saying, it's like, did I like legitimately miss putting that, like, did I miss it? I'm gonna check right now. That'll keep going in the background, don't worry.
Okay.
Cause like, that's, like, there's no way, right?
Let's check it out. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're checking this out.
Let's make sure that I
on like a video player.
Yeah, this is a separate video player. Yeah, this should be completely unedited. This is the raw file that we're working from.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, no. It just goes.
No, go back. This is what do you, after the scene? No, we did not. This is unedited. This is the raw file that I edited stuff from.
Oh my God.
Like I was really freaking out there for a sec. No, there's no assembly scene.
This is not a bit. We are looking at the raw file.
Oh my God.
And we're noticing they did not do the assembly after building up.
Because it's like, you know, when we were talking about that, I'm like, no, I must have fucked up. It's like, this is, now that we're actually like saying this out loud, I must have fucked up. We did not fuck up.
Wow. Like,
holy Christ. Well, this is Persona 5, The Missing Assembly now.
Yeah, there's the episode there.
That's the name of the episode.
All right. Oh my God. See, I just love that. Like, it's
like there was this dawning horror here, and then it's like, no.
That's a classic like thing with the Phantom Menace, because that film had a lot going for it, and yet it just felt like there were just entire storylines that were cut out. You know, it's like it's kind of the General Grievous thing. Actually, is more like it. It's like,
oh yeah,
okay.
I mean that's. Oh.
Did we miss something? Like,
well, they included that in like the comic series or the animated series or whatever.
Clone Wars,
but
maybe.
Like this, there is no fear from the developers or the writers. I mean, which might also be the programmers for all I know. That like they were going to bore people by having too much exposition or something.
Yeah, I mean, so I wonder, did they forget? Is this just something that they noticed like afterwards and like, oh shit, we can't go back and add that?
Well, one of my theories was that they write scenes separately from one another and then just kind of compile them together.
Yeah, it's very much. It's like a bad form of crowdsourcing. It's
like a very. I mean, you know, it's like how you don't shoot a movie in order, for example. Once you have like a set up, you use that to shoot all the scenes that are required there. But you know, movies writers know how to work with that. But like, I don't know. This feels, especially with the exposition and now this sort of thing. Like this is the first time the writing was actually so bad that I wondered if I fucked up.
Yeah. Well, that is really, and it's like I was with you on that. I was like, that would make sense if you had fucked up.
You know, it's like boy, I would look pretty stupid if I was making fun of this game, and then it turns out I was in the wrong.
It's like it turns out pressing the A button actually skips the scene. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, anime scenes work like that, but it's you gotta like press twice on the start button. Doesn't let you do it easily.
So,
Well, hey, this is an interesting scene because it finally shows that we finally have a character in the Phantom Thieves that can talk to other people. It took so long. I mean, obviously, you know, Ryuji was kind of our person doing that before, and he's Ryuji. Yeah. And I guess probably could have done that, except, you know, she's super awkward and a terrible actor, so it's like trying to do any sort of subterfuge, of course, didn't really work out. Yusuke. And Morgana is a cat.
yeah.
And also main character doesn't exist. He's a mannequin that they carry around. So it's like finally having a character that can actually talk to people and not immediately fuck it up because he starts yelling at them, Ryuji, is nice. It puts a real different dynamic on the whole Phantom Thieves organization 55 episodes in.
Yeah. Like,
They could actually have conversations.
yeah, we're getting to the turning point where everything after that is going to be great. Like, we're fully expecting the game to turn around. We're about, you know, probably
Like, look at this right now, for example. This is on the level of like that whole thing back in the second palace of, well, main character, you have to figure out which one is the fake painting, and it's like, Yusuke, you're right here.
yeah.
Oh boy. I mean, yeah, we almost have one functional person between the five of us. Wait, are there 5 people here?
I think
Just thinking about that
I
right
think
now.
there's 5 people and Morgana, and
And a cat. Okay.
and the Alibaba / Futaba.
Well, I wouldn't really consider Futaba to be part of the group.
That's
just
right.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Makoto! Why? Well, anyway, Makoto's also quickly becoming like the main character as well,
Which is
as we can see right
probably
here.
for the best.
Where it's just like, you know, Ryuji was kind of had that. Ryuji and Morgana, I would say, kind of shared like equal parts main characterness earlier than this, but Makoto is clearly the like actual main character right now.
That's fine. I think that's good.
Well, we needed one.
I mean, it's like Makoto is an actual character. I mean, Ryuji's all right, but he's kind of like too dumb to be like interacting with people.
Yeah, he's too dopey and overzealous and hot-blooded and stands out a lot and you know.
Yeah. Why do they need to stand outside her door to have this conversation? It's just kind of, I know.
Well, because they were planning to actually talk to her, but she wouldn't.
Right.
I mean, I guess there's no real way that. Remember, she shuts down her whole thing every single time that she ends a conversation with the Phantom Thieves. Like, you can't respond to her, so it's like
Okay.
talking to her in person is kind of the only thing that
that's
could have
fair.
possibly done.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've just we are no longer doing the whole like actually taking place in the city thing. Which much like the whole, hey, can non-evil people have palaces, finally gets explained. 56 episodes in, I believe, on that
All
one.
right. By the way, I didn't realize this, but Ryuji's shirt is actually in English. That makes more sense.
Oh yeah, no more rules.
Yeah.
He's been wearing that one since the start of summer. Is that why we ended up in the desert? I think you would have ended up in the desert regardless of where you entered into the palace.
By the way, this is a minor complaint among many, like, you know, more, you know, bigger concerns. But like the way that they talk is always like 3 characters being completely stagnant, while at most 2 characters are saying something, and that's just really monotonous, like visually, like as we're looking at it, you know, like.
Well, you got to remember, I've said before, this works by stage play rules. Where like they have characters stand in a scene, and that's kind of like they'll walk into the scene like we saw in the last episode.
Yeah.
Where it looked like they were going to throw down with Sakura. Because why would you have characters like walk into the framing like they did there, like you pointed out? Anyway, hey, this is a thing now.
Yeah.
Well, we got another cutscene coming up. Like I mean proper like anime cutscene.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I like this style.
So, we have a limited amount of money for anime cutscenes, right? They can't have everything be an anime cutscene. However, the last two they have done have been showing off the main characters perving on Anne. This is how they decide to spend their money. They said, well, what scenes really deserve to have the, like proper animation and everything in them? And it's like, well, it has to be that scene where characters are staring at Anne's big old titties and also her legs.
Yeah.
This is the game we're playing. It's as if they're like, now it's starting to feel like this is just some sort of money laundering scheme so that they could, kickstart their Anne-related hentai.
Well, of all the things, like these are people who are with Anne like 3 hours a day. Like, do they even?
Oh, by the way, Persona predictions, Anne has sexually harassed.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, bingo
again. in glorious anime cutscene style. Yeah, you'd think that it's like they would like to have some more respect for her, but no, they don't. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that pyramids did. Why not? Whatever. Makoto, you're supposed to be the smart character, right? Also, it's supposed to be a cyber pyramid. That's kind of a cool design.
Yeah.
Look at the UTF stuff going on there. Well, anyway, endless complaining about it being too hot lately. Let's get into that pyramid, I suppose.
We've established that it's hot, I think.
It is hot.